Jewish people back then, they would do these baths, and it was like a thing, like part of the ritual or whatever. And so I think that a man probably ejaculated in the water, and Mary was ovulating, and the little spermie swam up and got her pregnant, and that's how Joseph did it.
Yeah, that's science.
And I'm going, and this is a joke, right? Or like, you actually mean this? She's like, what the fuck do you mean it's a joke? This is like real science. This is like real theory. And I'm just sitting there going, like, you're a fucking idiot. I was like, what if it was just Joseph's sperm? She's like, you're saying Joseph was the dad? I was like, well, more than likely. She's like, oh, that goes against everything. And I'm like, but spermies swimming in a... anyway.
Sometimes you just gotta shut that down and go, that never happened, right? Like,
yeah,
none of that.
It's like, none of that happened. But she actually...
It makes more sense than God.
True. But she's
we're going right to God in this. Yeah. We're going straight in.
We are there.
It's just people that think like that.
My whole thing is they don't understand that all of our current modern religions are straight ripped off of the mythology from the civilizations that predated them. Exactly. Direct rips. But they don't... None of those existed.
Yeah.
So they're not direct rips.
Yeah. And
welcome to Real Time
like to say,
on HBO.
What was the last time you heard of one of these type of pregnancies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you're swimming in a girl. These chicks are just coming out of swimming pools getting pregnant. Like, I didn't have sex yet. I promise. The spermie.
So anyway, I'm Ryan Lambert. You are.
I'm Andre Gower, and this is, what is it?
I think it's Squadcast.
I guess this is Squadcast. And we might not have noticed it earlier, but it is Squadcast. So we
Squadcast.
We're that. Squadcast. So we're actually, Ryan and I have two cool friends of ours in-house. We're eating and having some Perrier's and some Michelob's and some hot wings as we're going. So you can hear some smacking and spilling. But these are two pals of ours that are filmmakers, directors, and producers that are now here in LA. And they have a great project that is just released. So I've actually been wanting these guys to hang out with us, but it's, to be on the podcast. But it's perfect timing now because their documentary has just been released, and it's going to go even wider later. So we'll get into that, and we'll talk about a bunch of other kooky shit. But Derek Johnson and Chris May are in the house. So thanks. Are you okay?
There's something in my throat.
Yeah. You sound a little gravelly there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
You good?
Yes.
Okay. Is that supposed to be like a sound effect?
I was doing the...
Sorry, I thought you were needing the Heimlich.
I do. I still do.
It was because of the hand motions.
This is like Team America 2. I'm joking. It's me. Fuck me. Kill that bastard.
So you thought it was Thursday.
Right.
What day did you think it was?
So our day's starting off right on track.
You're like, I totally want to do Squadcast tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought today was Friday. I've been writing all sorts of weird emails and messages to people about how I can do something on Friday or maybe Saturday.
But the funny thing is tomorrow is your birthday, so you would have been off a day. So people would have been calling you saying, happy birthday, and you're like, no, it's tomorrow. And they're like, what? No, it's not.
Don't we just check?
Facebook is wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Zuckerberg.
Look, dude, Facebook says it's Saturday. Therefore, it's Saturday. Facebook says you can get pregnant in a pool, so therefore you can get pregnant in a pool.
It's true. Logic.
It's not true.
All right, so let's just jump in.
Let's get into
how did this project. You want to say something?
I did. Yeah, I did want to say, what about a hot tub where it's nice and warm? Would they have long enough time to get through the chlorine?
No, the temperature kills the spermatozoa. And trust me, I mean, I've read this.
Okay.
I'm just going to sit on your couch.
He's done extensive research to make sure that...
Plus, that's also just gross, Chris. But that's... this is such a family fucking podcast. I mean, come on.
Ryan's trying to lead into the podcast, and you cut him off to talk about sperm.
I just wanted to get it out of the way.
Now I'm picturing sea monkeys swimming through the water.
You and your sea monkey guy.
I know, I can't.
Have you ever seen that?
The other day.
You guys, but you used to be able to buy. They did an episode on it, but the kind of gimmick toy, the sea monkeys, you could buy sea monkeys. we just featured the documentary about that guy making the sea monkeys on our show on Alpha. It's crazy. You've seen that short.
The most insane story.
And if you haven't seen that short, go to Short Ends on Project Alpha and watch that episode. You can get a 30-day free trial.
ProjectAlpha.com. Short Ends. Great. Yeah, it's actually one of the most fascinating stories I've ever heard. Like, from something in that capacity. Like this pet rock type toy where you're like, I'm going to sell you nothing. And like, you're going to love it. And then there's a whole story behind it. Oh, by the way, I'm a Nazi. Like, you're like, what?
Did you just spoil it again?
I'm not spoiling it. People
No one's
have
seen
it. No, hopefully someone's seen it. It's already been aired. My mom saw it. She loved it. She thought you were real cute.
Thank you, Marlene. Thank you, Marlene.
Actually, my mom does think you're cute.
Oh!
Yeah. Now you brought it up, it's very true.
I've hung out with both his mom. I've hung out with Derek's mom and dad. Super cool. I have a place to stay when I go to Dallas. I'm all good.
Oh, we're Dallas? We're Dallas?
Oh, no, that's my
Well,
mom.
I'm
No,
East
sorry.
Texas.
No.
When I go to Texas, you're Dallas these days.
So you've hung out with his parents, you've hung out with my mom, and my mom thinks you're cute.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my ex-girlfriend called you warm hands. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I know this story.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. So we're just letting the cat out of the bag on this episode.
Rewind. Delete.
Beep, bap, beep, beep. All right, let's go.
Wait, why
Hey,
was
I'm
this-
trying to start the conversation.
But hot tub sperm.
Let's get into this movie.
Hot tub
I
sperm.
want to talk about the movie. Where, why, how, when does it just pop in your head? I'm going to do a documentary on John.
Well,
Let's set it up first. What is your project?
oh yeah, that. The project
Tell the
is
viewers.
John G. Avildsen, King of the Underdogs, about the director of Rocky and the Karate Kid.
Yes.
And John,
And many
unfortunately-
more.
And many more. Unfortunately passed away on June 16th of this year, so he's no longer with us. But so the whole release is bittersweet. We released on August 1st, worldwide on digital, Blu-ray, DVD, that whole shebang. We had a short theatrical run. And so yeah, now the movie's out there, and how it came to be, and I've told this story a gazillion times, so I'm going to think of how to be shorter and cooler.
People that are listening don't know. So
True. Okay,
tell
guys.
the story.
If I sound like a robot, it's because I've said this
You've done this a
million
million
times.
times.
So about 5 years ago,
It's called
5 years ago, I sent John Avildsen an email, and he responded. I found him online, and
And that was because you what?
huge
Like-
fan of John's
okay.
and his films. Rocky and the Karate Kid are my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I was just a big fan of John's. He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. And so I sent him an email, and he was touched by it. And he sent me an email back. We started this friendship. And then I, like all filmmakers do, I offered him a script to direct. And he goes, oh, God, that's all I need, another script, right?
Pass.
Right. So he goes, send me a check for $1,000 and the script. If I like it, I'll do it. If I don't like it, I'll script doctor it, and I'll go over every page with you and make it better. If that's worth $1,000, send it on.
That is fantastic.
Well, I sent the check and the script. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, and he says, Derek, John Avildsen.
I'm in Mexico.
Yeah.
Thanks for the trip.
He said, get a pen and paper ready. Your script sucks. Let's talk about it. So now I'm like, all right. And he followed through. We were on the phone for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Went over every page. He mailed the script back with handwritten notes. So months later, I fly out to meet with him because I didn't live in LA at the time, and now I do. And we met for 3 hours, and I offered him another script. He didn't charge me this time, but 10 minutes into reading it, he said no. So now I'm devastated, and I fly back home, and I'm like, crap, I really want to work with him. So I call him up, and I go, look, John, I got an idea. If I can't make a movie with you, what if I make a movie about you? And he says, you want to work with me, kid? That's it, you're in.
Okay.
And then I had to follow through.
Okay.
So that was 5 years ago, and for the last 3.5 years, we've been working on this documentary.
So that first script that you sent him, and then he sent back notes. Did they make sense?
Oh,
I mean,
Andre just brought us beer. Hold on, let me take a sip, and then I'll answer that.
Did they? I mean, was it something you're like, this guy's insane, or was it like, whoa,
No,
he just
it was-
totally fixed my shit?
He totally fixed it.
Okay.
And I still have, obviously, I'll always have that script. I'll keep it forever. And it was really good notes. Like, it was worth $1,000 because I can actually say the late great John Avildsen script doctored this script.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's and he did make it better. And the thing is, it was already a good script in my opinion. It wasn't the genre that he was interested in. It's an action suspense thriller, and he just doesn't do those kind of movies.
Hence the name of your doc,
King of the Underdogs.
When was the first time you saw Rocky?
The first time I saw Rocky, I was a little kid. It came on television, and look, we all grow up, we watch the Rocky sequels, right? We watch Rocky 4 because it's fun, it's crazy. Rocky 1, let's just call it what it is. It's slow when you're a kid.
It's a film.
It's a film. It's a movie. It's a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. But when you're a kid,
it's not
you can't sit still
franchised type of thing.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem like something that you would do a sequel to.
Exactly.
It's just a great piece of art.
The first Rocky I saw was 3.
Right.
And Clubber Lang scared the shit out of me.
I think 2 was the first one I actually saw.
Yeah, I didn't see 2. I had to go back and say, there was 2 other of these movies, and they were completely different.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I was a little kid, and actually, for me, though, it stuck with me. Like, I actually sat down and watched it, and then my grandfather would always rent the Rocky movies, and I remember he rented Rocky 1, and I was blown away. So I was a small kid. Now, Karate Kid's a different story. Like, I mean, the first movie I remember seeing in a theater, I was 3 years old, was The Karate Kid Part 2. So, yeah, well,
we'll get in that. We'll get in that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Ralph Cockblacchio.
So basically, John Avildsen and his films were always a part of my life. What about you, Chris?
Well, my story's a little less glamorous. I was working on commercials in Dallas.
It was a Thursday.
Yeah, it was a Thursday.
The day before my birthday.
But I was wrangling extras, and I was just sitting there, and I had a couple conversations with Derek prior to that about possibly moving out there and getting this thing started. And I think I was chasing a couple children around the room because they, just for whatever reason,
Non-creepy reasons.
Yes.
Right.
I'm already depressed.
It was rough, and basically I was just like,
Do you have a balloon
Okay.
underground? And
He dressed as a clown.
dressed as a
no,
clown.
they needed to be in holding so that when I needed to bring them to
This isn't
set.
getting better.
Get to the part where I
They were
told
in
you
a
to give
cage.
me
Anyway,
money and
So,
let's
so
make
we've
this happen.
already established that Chris is now the
They're in a
target of the
cage
entire
and I threw a
podcast.
ball.
Yeah, he doesn't know what time of day it is. He's like wrangling kids to put him in the basement. It's just, and he's just trying to tell a story, and we're jumping all over him. All right,
They
so
were
you're
chained up or anything? All right, sorry. Go ahead.
But anyways, so I was sitting there and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I picked up the phone and I was like, let's like pull the trigger, let's go. Let's make this movie. Let's head to LA. And then funny story, went out to eat with my parents that night, and my sister was there. And I was just waiting for the right time to tell everybody that I'm moving to LA. And maybe about 2 or 3 minutes before I was about to like interject and say, "Hey, I've got news. I'm moving to LA." My sister goes, "Hey, I got news. I'm moving to New York."
Oh my god. She totally blocked you.
But see, if you had the right day, you would have seen what your sister
You're like,
would
wait,
do.
I'm moving yesterday.
So she breaks the news better, apparently.
Yes.
So did she step on your announcement, or
Well, no. I mean,
Oh, and I'm getting married, and I'm pregnant.
with twins?
it's like
I just want to make a
just
doc.
make a documentary in LA. I'm leaving tomorrow or yesterday. I don't know.
Okay.
yeah, it's like we're moving.
gotta go.
My husband just got a job managing a hedge fund. So what are you up to, Chris? Oh, I'll spend my life savings moving to LA.
How's wrangling those turd
That's when
burglars
you
on
just,
the commercials?
at that point, you just leave. You're like, you just go, and you're like, where are you? Like, I moved to LA. I couldn't make the announcement. It was like too much for me.
The only sound is the chair backing up on the floor of the thing. That's it. Out.
It's that meme of Homer going back into the bushes.
No, the worst part was my mom immediately started crying, and my dad just like started clapping.
About which part?
And he was happy that we're moving on and
Getting out of the
Start-
house.
yeah.
and
It sounds like
Finally, it's about time.
that's probably what
like,
happens
I'm
when your
finally
mom
get
would
the
spank
TV
you.
to
She would
myself.
cry while she's spanking you, and your dad just go something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. I like the.
Hey, I'm already 3 sips into this Michelob Ultra, and I'm feeling it.
So how did
Me too.
you got? Okay, so you're like, I'm gonna make a movie about you. He's like, great. Where do you go from there? You start gathering interviews from other people.
Well, money first. So,
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So we got the
Oh, that's
well,
stuff.
obviously that thing. No,
Wait, you didn't already have like a...
No, I didn't have a plan or anything. I was just like, I'm going to make a movie about you. And then, no, I raised the money through private investors, and we actually did a little bit of Kickstarter as well, just for a sweetener. And so yeah, going back to wrangling people, not little kids, but talent for interviews.
Caging up those little bastards.
Picking up the phone and getting on the emails, and just, one thing that John said, we asked him, we were like, look, if we're running into any trouble getting anyone, will you make the call yourself? And he said, yeah. Well, he said, but you're going to do it. So we did, and we got all these people ourselves, except when we got down to Morgan Freeman, who could not do it for scheduling purposes. We asked him like once a year for 3 times, or once a year for 3 years or something like that. We said,
I'll
John,
just do the voiceover.
That's one busy dude. That's one busy
he's
dude.
a busy dude, and we're like, John, will you do what you said and put in that call? And he goes, no.
No.
Well, you promised, you said. He's like, no, Morgan doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. And it was just kind of sad, but we found a way to put Morgan in it anyway.
I'm a very busy man.
Yeah.
That was just fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
You should double.
Morgan Freeman.
Double.
The following week, we got
I'm too busy.
Robert Mark came in, and we told him about how we had trouble with
Who's the writer of the Karate Kid?
I was
being
being
Morgan Freeman.
I'm
Sorry. Go on.
No, we got Robert Mark Kamen, who's the writer of the Karate Kid, like the next week, and we told him the only person, because he asked who haven't you been able to get, and we're like, pretty much the only person is Morgan Freeman, and he was like, I just at his house yesterday.
I would have guilted him into doing it had I known.
Yeah.
So call him right now. He's like, I gotta get out of here, guys.
He was just telling me how bored he's been for like the last 3 months. He's just sitting around doing nothing.
Exactly.
God, I really wish I could do like a documentary, like just sit there and talk about a director I worked with.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I know
all about those. I know all about that process.
So you got.
So we got all these great
You got
people.
some good gets. I mean, I would.
Oh, yeah.
You
You get some great
I
gets.
mean, one of them. You got Scorsese.
You got Stallone,
Stallone.
Obviously, you got to get
Jerry
Stallone.
Weintraub.
Yep.
Ralph Macchio. Tally Shire. Luke
Derek,
Perry.
you realize that name's not allowed
We don't
on the
talk about-
Squadcast,
we don't
right?
talk about Ralph
you
Macchio.
know this history, right?
Well, I do, but you gotta throw that in there for the fans.
No,
He's baiting you.
yes,
right
he
now.
knows.
He's
He
baiting
knows.
you.
I know. No, you know what? Ralph's great.
We
But
love you, Ralph.
But he is a Cockblacchio. All our people know that story, so it's good.
Yeah.
And it's funny how he keeps circling back to our podcast.
Like he won't go away.
It's like he won't do a podcast, but he keeps being in them. It's amazing.
Yeah. He and I just did a few podcasts the other day together.
You know,
want me to keep talking about it?
Yeah,
So
no,
we'll-
he said he doesn't do podcasts. It's funny. I was like, I've heard you on podcasts.
Yeah, he's... Yeah.
No, he, love him to death, kind of. And what an announcement that just came out
Yes.
this week, right?
Yes.
Like he and Zapka,
Yeah. Are
who
doing-
also Zapka has turned down someone in this room to play a role in a show where he's playing himself, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done doing all the old retro stuff." I was like, "This isn't. You're playing yourself," and he passed. It's fine. Zapka's awesome. I actually like Zapka, but now we're gonna see them in a Redux, a Karate Kid Redux,
Yeah,
and
comedy
they're like
series.
pals. Comedy on YouTube Red.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, announced.
Did you not? Oh, you
yesterday.
didn't read the papers yesterday? Just announced, big announcement.
I thought it was tomorrow.
All right, so tell about this process of making the documentary, and then we're going to talk about wacky, wild stuff. But docs take a long time
Yeah.
because not only shooting, because then I want to talk with Chris about the after shooting stuff, which we've had conversations on, which actually takes even longer sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So docs are super time suck intensive heavy of traveling, getting the people on camera, getting the interviews, cleaning that up. But then, I mean, how many total interviews you have in here? You have dozens.
We
had
probably did.
over 40.
Yeah, I think we shot over 40 in about 9 months. Yeah, it was pretty intense all over the United States.
Yeah.
And that's always the thing when you're doing sort of like a doc shoot. You're talking to someone, you're probably sitting down for an hour, and you're going to use, at the most, 4 minutes or something of what they got, if that. And you may just have like a sound clip, and you're like, oh, I don't really... Yeah. It's like, oh, I like with this, but it doesn't fit. When,
I got Sylvester Stallone, but damn, that guy rambled for like 2 hours.
And he finally said something at the end.
Sorry, Slaw, you're cut.
What do you mean I'm cut? What? Kept ringing that bell. I can't concentrate.
You know, his interview when we shot his, it was the best day I've ever had on set ever. Nothing went wrong except one thing. His phone kept going off, and it's like you would think, you know, the first time just put it on silent, and then it did it again, so he just throws it to his publicist. He's like, take care of that. It was hilarious. It's like, I don't know.
I ran into that a couple weeks ago. It was my own doc interview.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Just kept ringing. He would hit it off, and then it'd call again. Like you wanna hit the.
Yeah, just
there's a button. You know you're doing something right now, right?
Yeah.
Can you stop
just put that button
from happening?
Oh, God. So you get all this done, and you're like, shit. Now what am I gonna do? Now I've got to go get footage. I've got to get stills. I've got to get historical stuff from John himself.
Well, we
did he help you get the footage from films?
Well, we used a So
we fair used everything.
We fair used everything,
which you can do a doc, and you having 40 interviews, which is the 40 kind of celebs and filmmakers, and you reference a lot of past movies, which makes this doc not boring, which is what I like about it too, because you're just going bang bang bang, like, oh, that movie, Joe, Save the Tiger, you know, obviously Karate Kid, you know, everything, lean on all the way up through the John's work, but then other stuff as well.
That's what we need, like Roper, a quote saying, "Not boring."
Not boring, Richard Roper.
Just say, King of the not boring. Squadcast. It's just not boring. But I think the pacing of it is neat because you have a lot to put in there, but you have a lot of fair use clips and stills. But talk about the post process. I mean, that's a huge thing in making a doc, because you want to get like this story in, but you're like, it's going on way too long. Or it's like, I've got to come out of this and maybe come back, but do I know if I can come back? So talk about that process of actually finishing or trying to cut this together, not even finishing it.
Well, post took a long time, and plus John Avildsen had a lot of notes. He gave hundreds of notes, which is great. I mean, who's better to get notes from? But the first cut we showed him was 90 minutes, and we actually were chronological, and we showed almost every film. And when it was over, he was like, you got to cut like 30 minutes of this shit out. Like, no one is going to want to watch this. Cut it out. No one wants to talk about Karate Kid 3 or all of my duds. So he was right. So what we did was we plucked a lot of things out, and then we just decided to keep the first half Rocky-centric and the last half Karate Kid-centric. And it works. And everyone digs it, but, you know, one critic did say they wished that it would have been less Rocky and Karate Kid and more Joe and more this and that, and I just like, you know, screw you, man.
That's not what people know.
Everybody's gonna have a different opinion.
I mean, yes, if you're a filmmaker, like a film buff, like, you know, I mean, I know what Joe is. I know Save the Tiger, like, but your average schmo wants to hear about how the fuck did they do Rocky and Karate
Kid. And that's your selling a movie.
Yeah. But you still reference everything else as well.
Sure, you let people know so that they can discover it.
Absolutely.
After the fact.
And we do break down Joe. Martin Scorsese talks about it in depth. But yeah, you know, you can't make everyone happy.
He's not a film buff at all.
Not at all. No, he knows nothing of what he's talking about. But no, the honestly, guys, the reviews are unanimously positive. Yeah. And we're very, very honored about that, and very touched.
Well, I got to see. I've seen 2 different versions of it, I think, right?
You saw the first and the last.
The first and the last. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed both. I think the second one is cleaner, tighter. It has a thing. I think you rocked it out with the final thing. But Chris, you and I had, you know, lunches and kind of hangouts and like when you're in the middle of like the clearance process and licensing and you know, releases for everybody on there. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of annoying shit that goes on to make a regular movie, let alone a documentary. So talk a little bit about that process of licensing. I know you fair use everything, but you got to reach out and dozens and dozens of phone calls. Yeah. And you did it.
Yeah. Well, basically, I mean, we just got on the phone with the studio, and we were like, "Hey, we want this. How can we go about getting it?" And send back an exorbitant amount of money, quote, like $35,000 or something for every 15 seconds. It was just ridiculous. And so we were just sort of, I mean, it was like surreal. Like, I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Yeah, this isn't going to happen. Yeah, this is undoable. Yes.
And I think at the time there was talk of a new Karate Kid, like it was just on the table. And so when we called, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just not licensing that right now."
We're like, that's half our movie.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So after like a week of crying, we started
Literally.
we got back on the horse and started figuring stuff out. And when it comes to licensing in particular, we had looked into fair use a little bit, but we went over to John's house and he was just like, "Guys, like fair use. This is," and we're like, we know, we've already looked into it. He's like, "No, like this is what you should do." Like, don't just do it. And we really looked into it again. And
We got the best attorney in town.
yeah, had a scheduled phone call with her and talked to her, and she
Was
was
it
just,
Jeff B. Cohen?
That would have been awesome, actually.
and yeah, she rocked it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
hell, we're still in touch with them. Just like
As you should be. As you always those are good resources to have. I love my attorney. She's great. And she really comes through. And I'm so confident in just letting her do it that I'm totally comfortable.
Yeah.
And then she tells me, it's like, "Oh, it worked out better than you were anticipating." It's like, "Oh, great." So it's even good. So you have all this stuff, and then like you got the second cut, and you have something that you want to start showing in your final kind of version of it, and you festival it a couple of times, and you take it around, and I know you keep doing the spiel and all the answers 100 million times. Trust me, we've been doing it for 10 years, and but correct me if I'm wrong. Was the actual like big premiere, like the first one at Santa Barbara Film Festival that I went to?
Yeah,
or
that was the world
Yeah.
premiere.
that was the world premiere of that version.
Yeah.
Now we're introducing this to the festival world, right?
Yeah, so the first time you saw it was the little VIP cast and crew
Right.
dignitaries thing, and then the second time you saw it was the world premiere of the final cut, the cut that's out there now that you can buy, and that was the last time we saw John, and that was the last time that John saw the film.
on chassis.com.
Yes, you can find it on chassis.com, CHASSY.com. But we're gonna just do that periodically.
Perfect. We'll have it up.
And
We're definitely not putting it on. Like it's not going to be like in the lower.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
By the way, can I just point this out real quick for the listeners? Chris and I are sitting across from Ryan and Andre. It's like two documentary teams. It's like we're sitting here like let's talk some shit right
Let's
now.
talk fair use.
Yeah.
What can't you like? I know how to.
Like
I'm
we're
gonna steal
literally
that from you.
divided right now, like your team and our team. Anyway,
And everyone out there listening, like in their bed, is like, "What are they talking about?"
yeah. What does that mean?
I don't get it.
You'll get it soon enough.
Yeah.
You'll get it soon enough.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get it.
But so that was the first time. That was the world premiere. But I didn't know that was the last time you saw John.
Yeah.
And actually, Machio was there.
He was
Machio
there.
came in from town to go to the premiere. So that was kind of cool. How was that event being a premiere at something like Santa Barbara? Because that's a decent film festival. I like that film festival.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was great. I was very happy with it.
Right.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah,
It's hard to enjoy those type of things because you feel a little stressed out and pressure, right?
Yeah.
As the filmmakers.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
trying to. But and this really doesn't matter that much. But the time and there was a bunch of rain and everything was beautiful and that actually helped me throughout the whole entire thing. Like I was just a lot calmer of a person. But
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Now it's all harsh and dry and sticky out there. It's like,
Yeah.
we had a big rain. We had a lot of rain over the winter, and everything was lush and green. You had to drive up to Santa Barbara, which is kind of like,
yeah,
you know,
normally I'd be
Santa
freaking
Barbara.
out.
Santa Barbara.
Did I say Santa
Oh my gosh,
Barbara?
I got this going tonight, but instead I was just like,
Such a beautiful
This is
country.
great.
There's
I
Santa
forgot
Barbara.
about that.
beautiful countryside.
Yeah, it's a great drive when it looks not burnt out.
Yeah.
We just drove up towards like San Luis Obispo with
Past San Luis
with,
Obispo.
with two people that had never been up that way, And they're like, where are we going? We're going
just dead
They're like,
here.
oh, I thought it was like an hour away where we were going. I'm like, no. Like, we're going through Santa Barbara right now. And they're like, oh, wow. It's kind of beautiful here. I'm like, yeah, it's Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Or as you say, Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
It's the Riviera of America is what they call it, or something like that.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
What's the diner we went to? Because let's shout out the diner.
Cajun Kitchen.
Cajun Kitchen.
And
in
we ate
Goleta.
there.
Cajun
You ate at
Kitchen in
Cajun Kitchen?
Goleta.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a great.
We ate there, literally.
So good.
Remember when skydiving, we stopped at Cajun Kitchen?
Skydiving? Did they skydiving?
Did I say skydiving?
No.
Skydiving.
No,
Skydove.
but someone else did it on our last podcast.
Really?
Skydiving.
Skydiving?
It's skydiving.
That
We
was the
literally
end.
ate
It's
at Cajun
Yeah,
Kitchen.
that's where I heard
That
this.
doesn't sound right.
Yeah, sky. Well,
It's sky- no, it's skydove.
skydove.
No, if you skydove,
Skydove.
No, we
Skydive?
redefined it. If you skydove, that means you didn't open.
Sky died.
Skydive.
No, we're gonna get Adele to re-record Skydove. Let's do that. She'll do it.
Oh, she'll do it for sure.
She has nothing else to do right now.
got it.
She'll do your show.
No one wants anything from her. She'll do
Yeah.
it. We'll get her on the podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, I love to be on your podcast.
No, she's super cockney. She's like, I love to be.
I love to be on your fucking.
Your goddamn fucking. And then like wait, that's the
That's
person that
the
goes. Sings like amazing. And then she
Skydove!
talks, and you're like, Skydove.
Her shit all
It's
sounds the
gonna be
same to me.
fucking great.
It kind of does, but
Yeah, I'm not.
look.
She takes out her grill. It has like 6 fake teeth.
She's
She's coming after you now, boy.
I used to open up beer cans with my teeth. That's how you get a pint, damn it. You eat the whole fucking can.
Ooh, my kind of woman. Love me some of that. Anyway. So, okay.
Cajun Kitchen, Goleta. Yo.
Cajun Kitchen, great if you're on your
So,
way.
wait, so you premiere there, and then kind of all this, you did other festivals and other type stuff, and then it leads up to the release. So kind of, what are the highlights of the spring and the summer after that, taking it around? Did you travel a lot for it? Did you, how was that promotion? Because while you're out promoting it, now that you're festivaling, you're also trying to put a business deal together. Mm-hmm. So that's all kind of simultaneous stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we traveled across the country, did private screenings, special screenings, festival screenings, all over. And then, like you said, trying to put together a deal. And then we got a distributor a few months ago and inked the deal. And they're like, hey, we'll have this out August 1st. It was that easy. It was like, oh, wow. Because, I mean, you guys know the drill. Like, so many distributors come at you, and they're like mom and pops, and they're shelf sitters, really. Like, they want your film, and then it'll sit there forever. Mm-hmm. And then you're just bitching to them, like, why aren't you selling the film? And they're like, we're trying. These guys were like,
try harder, damn it.
yeah, exactly. These guys are like, no, we're going to get this out there, and they did. So, I mean, it's, gonna
So
hopefully make us money.
it released. What was your favorite place when you were traveling? What was the best place that you've either festivaled or screened at?
Oh, gosh. Well,
Or the most
that's
memorable?
older.
Might not have anything to do with the movie.
yeah.
I was gonna say there's a. It had nothing to do with.
Yes. Okay.
Tell this story.
Here we
This is
go.
exactly what I
This
want.
roller coaster.
Let's just we deserve this. Let's just get this stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
No, this is what it's about.
To
This
go
is where you do
get Burt Reynolds interview.
Okay.
Flew to Florida to
Oh,
Burt Reynolds' house.
And
Yeah.
if it starts with Burt Reynolds, we know we're in for a ride. Here we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
So,
Here we
and
go.
we get to the hotel. And I got there first, and I was just working, and then he gets there, and we.
Where was this?
Finish
What
up.
town was this in?
This was in
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach.
And he lives in Jupiter.
Yeah.
And there's a.
course he does.
Well, first of all, just to sort of
With Tiger Woods.
preface the story. As I'm asking my cabbie, do you know where this hotel is? He's like, oh yeah, it's right next to Rachel's. He's like, okay,
Whatever that is.
whatever, yeah. And so I get
Already
there,
loving
I already know what I think. Okay, go ahead.
and it's just like we get there, and then he gets there, and then it's night now, and we're like, let's do something.
Rachel's a hooker, right?
Rachel,
No.
Rachel is the
Huge.
premier strip club.
Of
Next to the hotel.
West Palm Beach.
All right,
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
close.
literally
Russians
like
everywhere.
a soccer field away from us.
No, it was the field in Pulp Fiction when Bruce
Yeah.
Willis is like
That's what
cutting
it
through
felt
under the
like.
under the
Cutting
fence.
through.
That's what it was like to get to Rachel.
That's how you get to Rachel.
Yeah, you pull a Bruce Willis fence maneuver, and go through the field. But yeah, we did. We're like, look, we're going. Okay, but no, it gets better. Come on, I got to throw some stuff in.
Does Rachel's have pancakes?
So I was dating a girl at the time who I found out while I was away shooting, she was lying to me, and she was actually a bikini dancer. And I didn't know I was dating her, and she was a bikini dancer. I just thought she was going out every night, right? So I was like, I'm going to get back at her. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to Rachel's. So we go to Rachel's. The next day, we're going to Burt Reynolds' house. So we're like, okay,
My
we've got to go
were
to.
much less complex.
Yeah. Mine was, I'm gonna show her. So she's a bikini dancer. I'm gonna go to a strip club, and the next day I'm going to Burt Reynolds' house. So we cross through the field, and we get in there, and it's like these doors open, and you're like, "Welcome to Rachel's." And we're like, and there's Russian beauties everywhere, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing.
It surprised me. There's like a lot of Russian.
A lot.
Just everywhere.
So we come
Welcome
in,
to
and they're
America.
like, "Who are these guys?"
Welcome to West Palm.
And I'm pretty sure we
Pretty sure I had
spent
a girlfriend by then.
we spent a significant portion of
No, you didn't.
funds at Rachel's. We close Rachel's down.
Yes.
It's just you and me. We're like the last ones in there. We're the first to arrive, the last ones to leave. I'm not going to say what all happened in there, but it was pretty crazy. We get out and we go to Burt Reynolds' house the next day, hung over as shit. Probably still drunk. I'm wearing a T-shirt with a pocket, and I'm just like, I don't even wear pocket T-shirts. And we're just sitting there.
This isn't my shirt.
This
Now,
isn't my shirt.
Bert walks in and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "You guys smell like Rachel's."
Exactly.
We still had glitter on our faces.
We did, and it was just the greatest freaking day ever, man. It was. Did we go back the
Does
next
he not
night?
own Rachel's?
He probably. I don't know, but I'll tell you what he does.
Because I was
have.
waiting. I'm like, where's the Boogie Night story here? Like,
Well,
you know,
it's-
like,
I bet he has a VIP card.
yeah.
So I'm sitting in Burt Reynolds'
How
house.
we had mentioned it to him. He'd be like, "Oh, you should have said."
Oh, you should have asked Bubbles at the door. We could have gotten in. You know, it's good.
So I'm sitting
Who's
at
got
Burt
the
Reynolds'
bubbles?
house, and I have to use the restroom. So I go to the restroom, and I pop a squat, and I look to my left, and he has BR on all of his towels. So I just thought that was kind of cool, and I was tempted to just grab one, but I couldn't do that from Mr. Reynolds. He was such a gentleman. I did take a photo of it, though.
He might have tracked you down and been
He
like,
probably would.
"That's my towel."
That's my
$12,
towel.
please.
But no, it was
Gene,
really cool.
Gene Simmons would have invoiced you
Like,
for it.
everything said Burt on it. Everything said BR on it. It was awesome.
BR.
Just his nickname, actually.
Well, but he may forget like where he is. Be like, "Oh, this is my place."
Well, we wanted to take him to Rachel's, but he had shit to do.
Oh, you remember like, "Son, I've been banned for 6 weeks."
I'm not allowed in for another 2 weeks. Bubbles.
He was.
I got Skittles pregnant in the hot tub at my house, so I can't.
You know what's funny? I was going through my
Skittles?
phone recently, and I still have one of Rachel's strippers' numbers on my phone. That was like 3 years ago. I kid you not.
Let's call her right now.
The number
kinda
has
want
See if
changed.
she wants to be on the,
The number.
podcast.
It's like,
I'm seriously
I
not
cannot
joking.
be on the Ziploc. I can't be
Call
on
the
Ziploc.
stripper right now. I
thinking about
fucking
it.
double dog dare you.
Just so the audience knows, I am looking through my phone for this number.
So Burt Reynolds, the highlight of making the doc thing, or was it just strictly the trip through the
Well, you know, this was
barbed
it was
wire to
just
get to
sort of
Rachel's?
a night where we'd spent the last few months just waking up, working, and
You got it?
then going to bed.
Right.
And
So sort of like
All
a
of a
like a
sudden-
valve, like
yeah, it was like
I want to say like a valve release at Rachel's, but that would have been bad.
in the jacuzzi. And
Yeah.
they all
Those
had
aren't
babies.
foamy bubbles. I think the pH in this hot tub's a little off.
Ew. What kind of crew did you guys have with you? Like, if you're going to Burt Reynolds' house, like, what did you bring with you?
Well, we hired local because he has his own
Oh, okay,
people
you
that.
went local.
Yeah, so we had his makeup girl and his camera guy and his all that stuff.
What did you shoot? Did you shoot mostly on the same equipment
No,
the entire time?
no, actually, it's a clusterfuck. A
Oh,
lot
yeah, I
of.
was gonna say a whole hot
So how did that
Yeah.
affect like doing post? Like, to match everything?
It-
Was
you know,
everything
it
at
was-
least 4K? Everything was at least 4K.
No,
or-
it was
No.
1080p all the way up to
No,
5K,
no,
but we
no.
did it all in 1080p because we didn't have
Okay.
proper equipment. But it, you know, to answer that question, it was tough. It was tough. Yeah, it was, especially when we were color grading and stuff.
Yeah.
Things didn't
We
match
went-
and whatnot.
Yeah, we found a guy to color correct, and all of a sudden it turned from like, yeah, I'll have this done by next Monday to 6 weeks later.
And I ended up
to
being
next
the one
leap
having to
year.
do it.
Yeah, and then finally it
Yeah.
was just like, guys, I just can't do this.
Yeah, so shoot on one format, even if you're low budget because you'll thank us later. Yeah. It was tough.
It's good advice.
It is good because people just think, oh, it's a camera, and true, you'll have an image.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
Gotta be consistent.
My ego is getting the best of me right now. We knew better because we're filmmakers and we've shot.
It sure is. You think she's going to pick up when you call?
Exactly. No, but the thing is we just didn't have the resources on this project. So, like the film I did before this, we shot on the Red Scarlet, I believe, at 4K, and it looks beautiful. And then we come into this project, and we had everything from iPhone footage, VHS footage, 35 millimeter footage, Blu-ray, 5K red, 1080p Panasonic. It was just insane, and you put all that together. But then again, that's a documentary.
I
everything's mixed.
don't necessarily dislike that because it is a documentary.
Yeah.
And look, we just kind of curated a bunch of doc shorts for 2 full episodes, and you're going to use mixed media.
Yeah.
It's video as a media, but there's mixed video media inside the mixed media, and we saw examples of where they use that well. And I don't think watching King of the Underdogs that takes you out of it. I think it also lends to it because you're spanning a career that is 50-something years. Right?
Yeah, and we actually have footage that his father shot from the 20s.
That's right, of the old 60s.
Which is amazing. I love that part of the film.
It's pretty.
I love incorporating that thing, and that's one of the things I always talk about, whether it's a documentary short or feature. To me, documentaries fascinate me in the sense, especially when it's about like a specific character. When do you stop? Like, when's the story end? It doesn't. It's just endless. So like, I'm always fascinated by the editing process, and also finding the other story that you weren't necessarily looking for. So you're filming, you're like, whoa, this is going a whole nother direction. And I kind of felt that with the footage of his father shooting. So I was like, you didn't know you were going to find
Not
that.
at all. That's a very good point. John was adamant about really incorporating the father storyline into this because we didn't know anything about his father. And he was right because he felt that, look, I was the spoiled rich kid, so what do I know about the common man? What do I know about being an underdog? His father, who grew up poor, became a self-made millionaire and taught John to have an appreciation for the working man, for the common man. So that extra storyline really, really helped, and we had no clue going into this that we were going to discover that, and I'm so glad that we did.
What I love is that for aspiring filmmakers too, to like watch something like this, even myself not knowing certain stories like that, like I was saying, like I didn't know he directed Joe. Like that's like one of the greatest performances of Peter Boyle's career, and Susan Sarandon's first film. For some reason I didn't know that he directed that. So like it gave me a little insight into someone's career, and also like if someone wants to make films, it's like, well, here's a little inspiring story. You can do it too. If you have like the drive and the passion, anybody can do. Scorsese's was like a PA.
And his name is spelled wrong.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
John always laughed about that. He's like, yeah, I spelled his name wrong in the credits, but who
Oh,
cares?
did he?
He's a PA. Yeah.
That's hilarious. But most people wouldn't know that type stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, the guy that directed Rocky worked for Scorsese. Scorsese worked for the guy that directed Rocky for
Yeah, we didn't know that going in either. He was like, have you asked Marty for an interview? Like, Marty who? He's like, Scorsese. I was like, oh, you know him? He's like, I worked with him a long time ago. Are you friends? No, we know each other. And turns out 50 years ago, he gave him Marty his first job.
Marty.
Yeah. And it's just like, what? So Scorsese was great to come on board and help us out.
Again,
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get when you start a project.
And that's kind of one of those examples of taking super long to finally get to someone.
Sure.
Well, that's a big payoff. I mean, you do have a hierarchy.
That.
You have a hierarchy where you have a list of people you want to get, and obviously it starts with the heavies.
Yeah.
And then you have a timeline, but that kind of bell curve goes, but those keep going down the line. If you don't get them by this,
finally trickles
next
down
month
to
we we'll run out
Cockblacchio.
and get them, right?
I can't tell you
Trickles-
how many times
trickles down to
the
Cockblacchio.
deadline was like, we'd like to be done by now,
Faster.
but for this person, we can wait.
Right, but if this guy calls or that guy calls. Know all about that. But how many total films did he direct in his career?
Close to 30. I can't remember exactly.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And what are your, besides the, okay, let's go this way. Chris, what is your favorite John G. Avildsen movie?
I would have to say Save the Tiger.
Nice.
Derek, how about
Good
you?
one.
Rocky and the Karate Kid, and then Save the Tiger.
Okay. Now, besides, I'm going to take Rocky, the Karate Kid, and Save the Tiger off of the list of what's remaining. What's your favorite John G. Avildsen movie? Or maybe the obscure ones that people have never seen or they don't know that he actually made.
Well,
Ryan already mentioned Joe, but there's some other ones in there that people are going to be surprised that he did. So,
Well, he did Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman.
Beautiful.
He did 8 Seconds with Luke Perry.
Terrible.
He did The Power of One.
should have been 7 seconds. Saved us all a world of hurt.
7 Second Abs. Remember that?
No.
He goes,
Barely.
yeah. He also did Neighbors with John Belushi
Great
and Dan
movie.
Aykroyd.
Great. One of my favorite all-time comedies ever.
Yep.
Really?
It's weird.
Yes.
It's quirky.
I love that movie.
It's
I've seen
awesome.
it 5,000 times. I don't know what it is about it. It's like pre-Tim Burton or something. I don't know. There's something about it that like is so weird and kooky, and it does not seem like someone like him would direct something like that.
Right.
Which is great.
And it was John's idea to
There's
have
that
those
great
guys
scene
split.
with John Belushi just putting talcum powder on his body.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get laid by,
Yeah.
What's her name? God damn it. Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Yeah. She's,
Yeah.
Raging Bull. Blah, blah, blah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. What is her name?
Yeah, for some reason, like that just stuck with me when I was a kid. I love that movie.
Something Moriarty. Yeah.
You also have let's see. I'm gonna try to. I know there's one. I think there's more than one John Avildsen movie that I actually auditioned for. I know I auditioned for Power of One, which of course Steven got.
Did he do? No, I don't think he did. The arm wrestling movie.
Over the Top.
No.
Did
No.
he do arm?
No.
I auditioned for that.
Well, I did too.
Actually,
for you know who was casting that?
Who?
It was Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Mendenhall got
my only interaction with John, it was I did a film in Indiana, and there was a local actor that was in it. It did like a small part in this film, and he was like, "I want to come to LA and make movies," and I was like, "Well, let's just drive out. Like, I'll stay, and we'll do a road trip," because we became friends on the set. And we drove across country, and he stayed with me for a while. I got him an agent, and he went out on his first part, and it was literally like a cattle call, right outside of Warner Brothers Studios. Not even on the lot. Like
Was it Luke Perry?
no,
Oh.
outside the lot, and it was for Karate Kid 3.
Oh yeah.
And they just lined up a bunch of dudes like for like a one part in the film, which was, I think it was like one of the main bad guys, or whatever. And John, I wasn't auditioning. I just stood off to the side while my friend stood in line. And John came out and he was like, you, no, no. And he pointed to my friend. He was like, you, and he got a second audition. Now he got to actually audition. And like, it was his first audition, and he came up to me. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm in Karate Kid 3." I'm like, "You're not in Karate Kid 3.
You're
You're not
yet.
in it yet.
Not yet.
Like, you just got to the next.
You
round.
got off the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you might get to be in an office somewhere. And
Was he
read.
in Karate Kid 3?
No, he did not get it.
Who was this person? So it's not Sean Kanan.
Maybe that was the part. I don't know.
It was because actually I remember Sean telling that story.
Oh.
So you actually just corroborated his story of how
Oh,
the
well, there
casting
you
was
go.
done. Yeah. So Sean was the guy that got.
He got
the
it.
part.
That guy got it.
Well, Sean Kanan had that look
Yeah.
for, what year was that? 90?
89.
Yeah, 89, 90. He had that. Boy, he's an asshole, but he's kind of sharp looking, and he's a good looking. No, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And he plays it really well.
Did
And
John know the story?
That's Robin Lively's in 3, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Rob, yeah.
Yeah.
Robin
Which
Lively.
old friend of ours.
Old
Yeah.
pal. Did John know the story about? Maybe you don't know this, but that Ralph's character in the Karate Kid was actually the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Does
yeah.
he know that? Did he ever see that?
He did. He laughed.
Did
a
he
lot.
like?
He-
Because when you watch it, you're like, oh my god, he was a total dick. Like, he totally ruined everybody's life.
Yeah, John knew,
Like,
knew
everyone
all
was
that.
fine. Everyone was fine
Yeah.
before Machio showed up.
Then here comes this guy
This
dropping
guy's
in.
like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna take your girlfriend, and I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm gonna smack you in the face, and I'm gonna do this.
And you're doing it all
Miyagi was
wrong
like-
because you don't accept me
Yeah,
for coming in.
Miyagi was
and
just
being
like kind of chilling out in his backyard, and then all of a sudden it's like, be everything that I need you to be.
Right.
It's like, God damn it, kid! Like, now I have to like do everything every day for you.
I just want to fix the sink and trim trees. That's all I'm doing. I'm retired.
That it reminds me of Raiders of the Lost Ark when they say that Indiana Jones doesn't even need to be in the film because all of that would happen without him. You know that theory? And it's just like
Raiders or all of them?
the Raiders. He's like there's that theory out there. I think Big Bang Theory
someone
actually
needs to take him out of the movie and just show the movie.
Yes,
It's so good.
but I disagree because it makes sense because everything could have happened without Indiana Jones in the movie, but he
Disrupts
saves
it.
Marion. If
Okay.
you think about it,
Okay.
like if he does one thing,
But would she
he
have
tells
even
her to
been
close
in-
her eyes.
Oh, she would have been in it anyway
And
because
so
they went
yeah.
to go get the medallion.
The medallion.
Right.
So and Chris, who just stepped outside to make a phone call,
I think Rachel's called.
I think Rachel's his call or Bert's calling. Let's go to Rachel's.
Bert's like, Chris, where are you?
He says no, that wouldn't have happened anyway. So I don't know. He's with the theory that Indiana Jones didn't need to be in it. I think that Indiana Jones at least saved Marion's life, but yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's like he saves Marion, but then like he falls.
But
off
if
the
she just
building
gave
and
them the medallion, then it's just like, here you go, and then she was saved. Like they got the medallion,
Yeah,
so
but
like, she wasn't dead.
but she wanted, but the
No, but they got the medallion back. They got the
To put
the
on
medallion
the
to put on the
staff
top of the
Rob.
staff of Rob.
Yeah,
back.
but Indiana Jones took it. But if she wouldn't have died, if she was just like, here's the medallion. then
Oh,
they
I don't
would've-
know. Those
they would have
third,
left.
Those Third Reich guys might not have left you around. You know.
yeah, you never know.
You know. You never know. They traveled all the way to Kathmandu to get it.
Indiana Jones. Never thought I'd. What did she say? Like, never thought you'd be walking back into my life.
She's so hot too. I could just picture her saying,
And insane. Anyway.
yeah,
It's a,
Oh wait, that was Margot Kidder.
yeah, it was Margot Kidder.
not the same person.
Yeah,
Very similar.
We met Margot Kidder in New York at the Monster Squad
that's right.
premiere at the Hard Rock Cafe.
With Michael Douglas.
wow.
No, that was in L.A.
Michael Douglas was in New York, I thought.
Oh, I thought he was in L.A.
Who cares? Anyway.
Michael who?
Fuck them all.
If it was Kirk Douglas, Kirk Douglas would have been a different story because he was an airplane. He's a movie star.
Was he an airplane? I'm joking.
He's not. It was a joke, and now you just said it was not a joke. And
movie of all time.
Oh
Let's
gosh.
go sci-fi first.
Oh, you're gonna give me categories?
Yes.
We'll do
Oh
categories.
yeah.
Awesome,
Yes,
'cause
we don't.
this-
Yeah, there's no best of that
yes.
because I like Fletch is great and Close Encounters is my favorite. But like, I don't put them in the same.
So sci-fi. Go.
Sci-fi.
And this is Derek. Because
Wow.
Chris is on the phone with
You
Rachel.
did put me
Derek's
on the
doing
spot.
crack outside.
'Cause I'm so used to people asking me, and I always say Rocky and the Karate Kid. So sci-fi. Let me come back to sci-fi. Give
Okay.
me another one.
Comedies.
Comedy.
Comedy's got to be, gosh, it's a cross between Big Lebowski and Bad Santa, but also.
Ooh, nice.
Also, have you ever heard of Crime Busters? It's the Trinity Gang, the Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill from the 70s. Those,
No, I don't know
it's
this.
so funny. It's called
Crime
Crime Busters.
Okay.
That's literally my favorite comedy of all time.
Shit.
So anyone out there
I
that's
got
hip
some
enough
homework.
to know, maybe
Oh,
you'll-
I'm not hip.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm not
Nobody
hip now.
listens hip.
yeah. I'm still thinking of sci-fi. What's your favorite comedy?
Comedy? Fletch.
Fletch. Nice.
Gotta be.
Nice.
Fletch.
1985.
I mean, I After Hours, if we're going Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like, I consider that a comedy. It's a little dark comedy.
Great
but
movie.
I think that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Likewise.
But also, if you're going to just go comedy, I would say, I think After Hours, Fletch, and all those like Chevy things, like Three Amigos, Spies Like Us. Like,
Yeah.
those were like, that was my shit when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that like made me laugh the most. Beverly Hills Cop. Those kind of movies.
Yeah, all those 80s and all the John Hughes movies and stuff. I'm a sucker for all
One
that.
of
all that
those
stuff.
comedy, like, I mean, Breakfast Club is one of
Comedy
the greatest movies
drama,
ever made.
Yeah.
I like all the John Hughes stuff, but Pretty in Pink's on the bottom of the list.
Which
Interesting.
he did not direct.
That's right.
That was Howard Deutsch.
That was Howard Deutsch.
Yeah.
That's why it's not on the list.
Who for some reason friended me on Facebook. I'm like,
Nice.
Howard Deutsch is friending me on Facebook? That's really weird. Maybe it was his
Take it.
assistant.
Take it all you can get.
Oh, I took it right up the wazoo.
Right up
He
the
just,
Deutsch.
he just almost did a spit take.
You did.
No,
What's
I did do a. I did a podcast.
You
spit
faked
take.
a spit take.
Thanks for ruining my podcast spit take.
Andre,
You're the
what's your-
biggest spoiler ever.
what's your
You're like,
favorite
hi, I'm Ryan
action
Lambert.
film?
This is Squadcast, and Rosebud was his sled.
Everyone dies at the end of Rogue One.
Andre,
You already did that a long time ago.
favorite action
Twice.
film?
Action.
Ooh, favorite action film? Well, shit. I guess it is an action film, but
See,
When
these are
Harry Met
tough.
Sally.
There you go.
terms of
Tons
endearment.
of action in that one.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Kramer versus
No
Kramer.
action in Kramer's
John Avildsen turned
Legal
down
action.
Kramer versus Kramer.
Allison,
What?
smart
Yeah.
move. What a
He turned-
depressing move.
He turned down
Yeah, and
directing.
The Hunt for Red October. He turned that down.
Oh, wow.
And he turned down a lot of movies,
Who
actually.
did direct The Hunt for Red October?
John McTiernan.
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
McTiernan.
Yeah,
Predator and
Yeah, yeah.
Die Hard. I have to come back to
Die
that because
Hard.
Kill Bill came right into my
Piece of
mind.
shit.
But that's also one of my top movies of all time. So we were trying
Wait,
to
what?
categorize.
Say it?
He said favorite action movie.
Yeah.
I would consider Kill Bill an action movie, but there's a lot of action in it.
Yeah.
I guess it counts.
like
there's some
true
other, like
action.
true action. Look, there's more action in Kill Bill than in Die Hard, and that's an
I
action
know, but
movie.
it's we're going with the name, the
genre.
genre name.
Mine is Lethal Weapon. Just so you know.
Ooh, I know nothing.
Favorite-
About that.
Yeah, you guys don't know anything.
Lethal Weapon's a good one. I'll come back. I'll think.
Mine's
of my
actually
good
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nice. Very nice. That's my
I think
fourth
that
favorite
is
film
one
of
the-
all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
So you have a top five.
take out
Yeah.
indie, and it's a perfect movie.
That movie's actually why I'm a filmmaker.
Really?
Raiders,
Raiders, yeah.
And you've seen the Raiders, the fan film, shot for shot. Doc,
Yes,
right?
I have.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Are
kind of
they
neat.
gonna
very
do
interesting.
Raiders like Chrome?
I mean,
Remember
Might as well.
They did Mad Max Chrome,
Yeah.
like just black and white,
yeah.
super like, yeah.
No.
Indiana Jones. I think that would be a good black and white movie.
They did. It was called The Crystal Skull.
My crystal nuts.
Shia LaBeouf was in it.
Okay, as Mutt.
It's
What was his name in the movie?
Crystal Skull.
Mutt.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Yeah, like
I saw it
months.
once and never again.
The funny with
I don't know. Piece of shit.
with LaBeouf,
Legit.
LaBeouf, Skydove.
Skydive.
Skydive.
Nothing but Skydove. Oh, that's
Oh, it's got fucking Raiders of the Lost fucking ass.
yeah, you know that kind of, the Nazis. Those fucking
Those
Nazis.
fucking Nazis. Fuck them Skydove. Oh, wow, it's a silly Saturday.
We're only one beer
It's
in.
silly
Wait, we
Saturday.
just got a text
Wait,
from
is today
Adele.
Is it Thursday?
We just got Adele's in on the chat room here.
How much crack is he going to do outside?
Dude, he's on the phone with Rachel's. They're calling him. Said, we heard your live podcast. Thanks for the plug. Your 2-for-1 coupons are coming in the mail. We're starting a new lunchtime buffet here at Rachel's.
We'll give you a
Gluten-free,
Plug. We'll
just
give
for
you a
you.
plug back.
Gluten-free just for Chris.
Here's your plug back.
Here's your plug.
Zoink. Ow.
What's this ping pong ball doing here?
Okay. All right.
Random. Why is there a ping pong ball in the potato salad on the buffet?
This is going to be that kind of party. I'm going to stick my dick in that. Anyway.
Greatest break in a
How can
song
we talk
ever.
more about this documentary?
Oh yeah, that's why we're here.
Where
I
is
forgot.
it now? Where is it living? Is it going to be on DVD?
It's in my heart, Ryan.
It's
in my heart.
It's in my pants.
It's in my...
It's okay. So the
Are people
documentary.
going to get to see this in the theaters, or are they going to?
Well, sort of. So King of the Underdogs, we had our limited theatrical release in LA last week, and it's going to play in a few other places. But it came out August 1st. It's on chassis.com. That's CHASSY.com. That's our distributor. It's also on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Vudu, all the digital platforms. It's on Blu-ray, DVD. Check it out. It's kind of awesome. And
You can get the Blu-ray or DVD at chassis.com?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you can...
yeah, and I highly recommend getting the Blu-ray or at least the DVD because there's audio commentary on it, and you get to hear Chris and I yap about how we made this movie, but also we have iTunes Extras coming out in a couple weeks, I think, where they're going to add the commentary on that as well. But yeah, we really want you to go to chassis.com because that's our distributor, aka no middleman, if you know what I mean.
See? I do. Ding ding, love it.
Oh yeah. And yeah, we really urge people to watch it because look, it's a labor of love. And it's just John passed away, and we want to preserve his legacy. Not that we have to, because the guy did Rocky, for crying out loud, and The Karate Kid, and all these great movies. But you'll get to learn a lot about the man and about filmmaking.
This is the definitive story.
This is it. This is the official biography on John Avildsen, a great Oscar-winning filmmaker that changed pop culture and gave hope to millions of people.
Definitely an important part of cinema history.
Absolutely,
as
and a
whole.
forgotten filmmaker.
Well, I love
Who
the
certainly
I
flew under the radar the entire time.
Well, I love when someone says like, "Do you know who directed The Karate Kid?" And they're like, Spielberg."
Yeah.
No one knows. Like, I don't know if those people are just morons or whatever, but
Well,
at the same
most
time,
people-
it's like his name is not really a household name, even though the movies that he's directed are household films.
Yeah.
Like, no one on this planet doesn't know what Rocky is, even if they've never seen it. Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
But I think almost maybe like, this may sound wrong, but maybe a true director or what a director should be, that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
What your piece that you created.
You mean the director is
is
not the star?
The director's not the star.
All right.
Your piece of what you put together, you were the conductor of an orchestra of many parts, and you kind of managed all that to complete a final piece of work, and that's what lives on. And if your name's not, it doesn't say John G. Avildsen's Rocky, but now we're getting into that. It's like Quentin Tarantino's, Inglourious Bastards, because it's a little bit of vanity, it's a little bit of marketing, it's a different world now, but I think maybe that's almost kind of cooler. Mm-hmm. And then now, at a certain time, like that's what I really like. The reason you did this doc is to pay tribute to a guy that was your favorite director, but you're also a film guy. You grew up as a kid loving films, and you said, "I'm going to do this because I want to." And then you realize it's like, hey, all of his movies are the things that live on. And then I think it's a better story that, wait, I love that movie. Oh, wait, I love that movie too. Oh shit, the same guy did all of these of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. I think that's almost a better story than cramming it down your throat with who the director is. And we get a lot of that, the director is the main guy now. But I think it's a different generation of filmmaking. 60s and 70s,
Even
it wasn't
more
really
so
about
than that is now it's like, the showrunner of like a TV show. It's like,
do I need the headline of who the guy making the budget
that Ryan
decision?
Murphy made all these shows?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck?
It's really weird. John
good
just
for
didn't
you.
have that. in
Great,
his
thank you for
personality.
making them.
I mean, John literally let his films speak for themselves, and also he would always say, if you asked him like, how come you're not a household name, he would say, well, I didn't pay a lot of money for a publicist. Right. He's like, I did once, and I got it on a pamphlet on American Airlines, and that was enough of that. He was like, that did nothing for me.
Right.
So,
well, he's like the true, example of it's not about me. Like, I'm making a piece of art.
Pay attention.
And
pay attention to
I
this.
want you to see that, and I want you to see that I made the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I love Steven Spielberg. I think he's amazing.
Oh,
but like, when you're watching a film, you're like, I'm watching a Steven Spielberg movie.
yeah.
Like, you can see it. Like, there's definitive shots that like.
Just who was that mystery caller? Just how much crack did Chris smoke? And just how long can your little swimmers live in a hot tub? For those answers and more, check out part 2 with Chris and Derek.
Squadcast.